Coming up on the bench, Syracuse men's basketball is back in the Dome for the first time in 2 weeks. It was the second matchup in 11 days between the Cuse and Boston College. Could the Orange pull out their brooms and complete the sweep? Plus, the Syracuse men's and women's lacrosse squads took the field for the first time this year. One game was close and the other, well, simply was not. Find out if both teams could get their season started out on the right foot. And Syracuse softball dipped back into ACC play after some non-conference action against Canisius, but SU had a tall task on its hands in the Bluegrass State. All of that, and come on, we got plenty more coming up too. On the Bench starts right now. Hello, welcome inside our Citrus TV studios for another edition of On the Bench, along with Shrikar Rajendran and Terrence Murphy. I am John Eads. Right in the thick of February, which means we've got a lot to cover and we have a lot to get to. So hey, I won't waste any more of your time with formalities. Let's dive right in with some hoops news. And what I'm about to tell you isn't great, so please take a second and brace yourself. All right. Syracuse men's basketball's hopes for an NCAA tournament appearance have turned from hopeful to grim. SU starting center Jesse Edwards is done for the season after he fractured his wrist last week against Boston College. The Dutchman was piecing together a stellar season, scoring 12 points and securing over 6 boards on a night-to-night basis. But his breakout campaign is now on hold. All right, pretty tough way to start the festivities tonight, but hey, when you're at the dinner table, do you ever eat your green beans before your brownie? No. Okay, maybe some of you do. I won't judge. Anyways, the news is much brighter on the turf. Syracuse women's lacrosse stud Emily Harris-Chuck took out an eraser and wiped the history books clean over the weekend. The attacker passed her head coach Kayla Trainer for the most career goals in SU program history. The All-American punched in 4 scores against UAlbany to vault over Trainer's 260 mark set back in 2016. On the note of 2016, that's the last year that Coach Boeheim and company advanced to the Final Four. But forget the national semifinals. The Cuse is just trying to stay in the loop for some dancing shoes at all. Now, a win against Boston College would certainly help SU's prospects in that quest. Second meeting in the span of 11 days between SU and BC. The Cuse took the first battle 73-64 in Chestnut Hill. Cole Swider tied his SU career high with 21 points in that first date. Productive again on Saturday with 18. Joe Girard got involved early as well. The triple put the Cuse in control 9-4 3 minutes in. The 3-ball, not the story of the first half though. It was points off of turnovers. SU tallied 17 points on 12 BC giveaways. The Eagles sticking around though. DeMar Langford connects on a 16-footer, 21-13 Cuse midway through the first half. But then Jimmy Boeheim says, all right guys, I've got this. One of 3 buckets in the matter of 1 minute. And then Cole Swider caps off SU's solid close in the first frame. 36-21 Orange on top through the first 20. The Eagles trailing by 15, and mainly because they shot 7% from beyond the arc in the first, Brevin Galloway drains his lone triple of the night. 4 minutes later, Galloway skip passes. Makai Ashton Langford knocks down a long-range deuce. SU still up 20 early in the second. That big lead predicated upon the Orange's efficiency from downtown. Joe Girard snipes again from range. 3 minutes later, Cole Swider sets up the give and go, finds some open real estate on the wing, and splash. 61-41, SU up with 6 minutes to go. Now Swider thanks Jimmy B on the next possession. The Cornell transfer dared to pull, bang! The 3-point shooting the difference in this contest. Syracuse converts at a 44% clip to flock the Eagles. Patty Casey says goodnight and safe travels. 76-56, the final score. So the Orange make easy work of Boston College over the weekend, and the W's did not stop there. Third-ranked Syracuse women's lacrosse opened up its 2022 campaign on Friday night. The defending national runner-ups were tasked with a top 13 affair against Stanford. The Cardinal, one of 11 top 25 opponents on Syracuse's schedule this season. First clash between the two squads since 2011. Now, Olivia Adamson was just 8 years old when that game took place. Now she's 19, and the True Frosh hurls in SU's first score of the year. A 7-minute scoreless drought from there, but the All-American woman, Megan Carney, dissolves that with a BB that finds nylon. 3-2 Stanford in the first quarter. Closing stages of the opening frame. Check this out. Ailish Kelly goes BTB. Cardinal up 4-3. Moving ahead to the second, this must be Megan Tyrell's favorite quarter because she just erupted. 3 goals in the matter of 5 minutes. But now, despite that, we've got a 6-6 scoreline at the break between Syracuse and Stanford. Meg Tyrell added again in the second. The Southpaw completes this sequence and scores her 4th goal of the game. 8-6 Cuse heading into the 4th. And hey, Syracuse women's lax is back, and so is Emily Harris-Chuck. Boom! First goal of this season for the attacker coming off that ACL injury that wiped out her 2021 campaign. Harris-Chuck and company open up 2022 with a ranked victory over number 13 Stanford. So a lot of offense for SU women's lacrosse, and Cuse softball is another team that's shown signs of prolific offensive production. The Orange tabulated a dozen runs against Canisius last Wednesday, but home plate was kept rather clean in SU's 3-game bout with Louisville over the weekend. Syracuse's bats kept in check in the Bluegrass State, just a 182 team batting average and 3 runs to show for it. Meanwhile, Louisville crossed the dish 15 times across the 3 games and swung at an impressive 319 average to sweep the Orange. SU falls to a dismal 3-13 in ACC play. And the 3-game beatdown really just a microcosm of a season-long issue, the offense. SU, the worst hitting team in the ACC in terms of batting average at a little over 200, and, well, the defense isn't much better either. Syracuse ranks in the bottom quadrant of the 13 conference teams with a loaded 5.59 team ERA. The Orange closed out ACC competition with a couple home affairs with the Tobacco Road teams, Duke and UNC. All right, coming up after the break, we're getting dirty money like Jordan Belfort. My analyst will tell you which penny stocks you should be stacking up on for Syracuse men's basketball in the 2022-23 season. Stay with us.
I already knew that I was going to go to college, from a young age. I definitely want to major in political science, become the mayor or something, make the situation better for other people. My name is Justin, and I am your dividend.
Welcome back. On the Bench rolls on, along with Streetcar Regenderin and Terrence Murphy. I'm John Eads. Thanks for sticking with us. Guys, it's game time. Got buy or sell. I'm not sure how heavy your pockets are, but we're going to stuff your pockets. You're going to tell the audience who to stuff their pockets with because we're doing some stocks. Now, how it works. If you agree with the question I posed to you, you're going to buy it, obviously. You're going to buy a stock that's going up that you think. If you don't agree, you're going to sell that stock, right? So you guys ready to go?
Yeah.
I'm ready to get rinsed. Let's go.
All right, Terrence, we're going to start with you for this one. Judah Mintz, will he be Syracuse's best player this year? He's the top overall recruit coming in. Will he be the best player?
Well, look, John, Syracuse has a lot of great potential on their team, and in particular, Judah Mintz. I mean, he's a great player, great young player, adds a lot of talent and a lot of explosiveness to this team. But I'm actually going to sell this take. I think Jesse Edwards is just way too good. Look at the size of that man. That man is huge. I think he's like 1.25 Ben Spectors or something like that. That's a big man that is like a lot of Ben Spectors. And Ben Spector, I mean, he's a pretty big guy, big personality himself. But yeah, I think Jesse Edwards is definitely the man in this Syracuse team. And you know what? Shout out another player that is the best player in Syracuse as a whole, Mr. Calvin Cristoforo on the WAER team. Wow, that guy shoots like 99% from what he told me from field. So that's what I got for this team. Jesse Edwards, Calvin Cristoforo.
John, as much as I'd like to disagree here and say Judah Mintz, and I want to buy into that stock, very talented player, right? I agree with Terrence here. I'm saying Jesse Edwards as well. And my thing with Judah Mintz, consistency. He is inconsistent, only scoring in double he scored in double figures only once in the past 4 games. And before that, he had a stretch where he scored over 15 from the Lehigh game to the St. John's game. It's just not enough for me. And it's also a matter of potential versus proven. Before we go tossing crowns on guys as the best player in Syracuse, I gotta see it first. And with Judah Mintz, it's just not there. With Jesse Edwards, it's there 100%. So I gotta agree with Terrence here.
I think you raised a great point there between Judah, the freshman, and Jesse, the experienced player. But in any case, Syracuse is going to need both of those guys to step up if it wants to accomplish the next stock. And Streetcar, I'll start with you for this one. Does Syracuse make the NCAA tournament this year?
Again, I'd love to say that Jim Boeheim can get this team to the NCAA tournament, but I'm selling again. I just don't think it's going to happen. It's too little, too late. Look, this young core still has to develop. And by the time the season ends, I don't think it's going to get there, and I think it's just going to be too little, too late again. So Jim Boeheim can make it work. He's proven that in the past. But I just don't think it's going to happen this year. Even with a guy like Judah Mintz, even with guys like Chris Bell, Jesse Edwards, it's a good lineup. But they got themselves into a hole early, and I don't think they can dig themselves out of it.
You know what, Shrikar? We're on a good roll here. I am also selling this take. I mean, look at this team compared to last year. I mean, we had some high expectations going into last year. I mean, the Boeheims were coming together, a nice experienced team. And what happened? Fell flat. And you know what? This season, it's too young of a team. I don't think that we're going to make it that far. This is just a nice rebuilding year for all the players to come up to be better and to grow as players and to grow as people. And soon, I think soon we can make it, and soon we can definitely go far because the talent is there. But right now, it's just not the time for this team.
Well, staying on the note of Jim Boeheim, because you guys mentioned him quite a bit, and Syracuse suffering its first losing season in the 46, now going on 47 years that Boeheim's been at the helm of Syracuse basketball. Is this the end, Terrence? Is this last year? You buying stock in that?
Well, before I would, because I think he's still a great coach. He's a legend here in Syracuse. I mean, his name is plastered everywhere throughout this university, throughout this city. But I'm selling this. Again, I'm all sell for all these takes. I mean, Jim Boeheim's going to be here forever. His name is engraved everywhere, like I said previously. And look, I mean, he's already this old. All of his players left. All of his family left. And he's still here coaching. And he rules this team. He rules this university. He rules this city. And I don't think he's going anywhere for a very long time.
Okay, Terrence is just stealing my thunder here because I'm also selling this. It's 3 straight sells.
I mean,
for
we're
both
just
of
like
us.
cerebral right here. Yeah.
But yeah, I agree with you 100%. Jim Boeheim, this is a really good recruiting class that he has to work with, right? So again, it's going to take a while for this young core to develop, but once they do get to that stage, it won't take a ridiculously long amount of time. They can make deep runs in the tournament, and I'm sure Boeheim would love to be a part of that still. And look, we can think about a replacement all we want, but Jim Boeheim, one of the toughest coaches to replace. That's what it is. So I think he wants to go on his last hoorah, get that celebratory run in the tournament, and I think he'll do good with this class he has.
You guys realize you've sold every single stock, right? I mean, you have to have stocks if you want to make money on Wall Street.
Yeah, but some people don't make it on Wall Street.
Okay. You guys got a side hustle or something?
Well,
guess you
I'm
must.
broke.
a little hush.
All right, fair enough. That's all the time we have for this edition of On the Bench. For Terrence Murphy and Shrikar Rajendran, I'm Johnny. It's a couple of thank yous to hand out before we go. Ryan Bridges, Max Gifford, Hudson Riley, AJ Myers, Audrey Glynn, Olivia Webb, and of course, Nick Luttrell, our sports director. I'm John Eads. Have a great night. Thanks for tuning in.